Greetings, everyone. Greetings. Welcome to Discussions. I am your host for Discussions, James Piranha Madonna of Megalife 21, the hardest hitting internet talk radio station on the planet. It happens to be July the 16th, right? Saturday, July the 16th, 2011. And I am here at the Newsletter Censored Research Center in Northeastern New Jersey with my co-host and mentor, the Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman, founder of Newsletter Censored in 1977. And this is, I am proud to say, I know I've said it in the past, but this is corporate and FCC-free, uncensored, underground radio, talk radio, that is, hard-hitting at its finest. And we are the hardest-hitting internet talk radio station on the planet. That is why you see a crown on my head, because I am going to state that after doing extensive research, there is nobody out there in internet talk radio that does what we do, that provides the public what we provide, which is hard-hitting, real truth, facts, humor, okay, witty humor that is unrehearsed, totally spontaneous, and just, we tell it like it is, uncensored. Corporations, the FCC, nobody tells us what to say. We have our research team, we dig hard for the real hard-hitting truth, and we present it to you. There's no one else out there that has the balls, with the exception of Dr. Gary Null, people like Alex Jones, Jesse Ventura. Other than that, I don't see anyone out there that has the balls, the guts to give you, the American public and the world, the real hard-hitting truth that you deserve to hear. You pay the look. Since the corrupt politicians, the elitists, have arranged it so the rich do not pay any taxes and the tax burden is put on you, the middle class and the poor, don't you think that you have the right to know the real hard-hitting truth about many things? Sure, I think so. But you're not told the real hard-hitting truth. You're kept in the dark. And it's unfair what the government is doing. Now, Obama said a little bit. I happen to think he's much too nice with the conservative right-wing Republicans. He's still trying to compromise with them and get them to like him and the Democrats, but it's not working. And I guess, Dr. Bill, I know you have some irritation in your eye, and I hope you feel better soon. But other than that, how are you doing in general?
I'm fine.
Okay. From what I understand, Washington wants to temporarily stop Social Security checks from going out, something of that nature.
No, they're not stopping them from going out.
Yeah, what's happening?
The United States government must increase its debt ceiling in order to pay its bills that it's already made.
Right.
The Republicans are holding the United States hostage to get the domestic spending cuts with Obama.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So they're holding the debt ceiling hostage.
Right.
Now, if the debt ceiling is not raised, the United States will not be able to pay its bills. Therefore, checks for Social Security, veterans, welfare, whatever, will not be going out.
Including disability, Social Security disability?
Disability, all the government
retirement
checks.
checks.
Or,
right.
if they have enough money on hand, they will have to pick and choose which checks to send out.
Oh, really?
That's correct.
Interesting. Prioritize which checks go out, and of course, the millions of Americans who don't get the checks pretty much end up in the street and starve to death. Is that how it works?
That's correct. This is all done so that there will be no tax increases for the rich.
So it's happening a little sooner than we think.
As Mr. Boehner said,
The culling of the herd.
as Mr. Boehner said, that all is on the table in their discussions,
Really?
except tax increases for the rich.
See? All is on the table except tax increases for the rich. That's off the table with conservatives.
That's correct.
Interesting. So
Medicare, Social Security, Medicaid are on the table.
So do you think that this is part of the culling of the herd that the elitists, that the corporate plutocracy wants to get rid of the poor, the poor and low-income people that are using up?
No, I think it's part of the mean-spiritedness of Republicans who love the rich and do not like the poor.
Yeah, perfect example. Poster boy for conservatives, Governor Chris Christie of New Jersey. And they don't like the poor because the poor
They don't believe
make
that
them
they're
pay
poor.
taxes.
No,
indirectly,
they
right?
don't believe that there are poor, real poor in America.
Oh, really?
That's correct.
They think this is like the land of milk and honey with gold
They
in the
believe
streets.
that the poor are, quote, a bunch of freeloaders, unquote.
Okay. Do they still mistakenly believe this is the land of opportunity and there's
For them.
opportunity here?
For them,
If you're an elitist, it's the land of opportunity. Capitalism works great if you're an elitist, if you're wealthy. The American healthcare system works great if you're wealthy and you can afford to pay the best for the best healthcare, health insurance. Money can buy. Your retirement is all set. Your goal, your nest egg for your retirement is set when you're rich. So capitalism works pretty well if you're rich.
for the capitalists.
For the capitalists. Now,
The
if you're,
problem with capitalism, as was stated in the new article for Censored, this nation was never a Christian nation. The
It's
United
out.
States was never a Christian nation. The quote was that the problem with capitalism is that it makes too few capitalists.
yeah.
Okay? That's the problem.
We have a not necessarily a spending problem. We have a revenue collection problem.
For the last 30 years.
Yeah, the rich haven't been paying, and they. I don't know if they really believe it. If the Republicans really believe that this country is the way it was, I guess during FDR, Truman, and Eisenhower, with this
They
land
don't
of
want it
opportunity.
back then. They want to go back to the 1800s
Oh, when everybody was on their
for
own.
themselves. That's
And if
correct.
you're poor, you die.
That's correct.
And if you're successful, you live.
That's correct.
So they want to go back to an
Frontier
America.
days, baby.
So they want to go back to an America from what you're trying to say, where you have to put your hand in your pocket and literally pay for every damn thing
If you had the money.
if you had the money.
Before
That sucks.
before
That kind of government
FDR.
sucks.
Before FDR. Okay? Before FDR. To them, FDR screwed up this country. Socialized it. Communist.
Yeah, but FDR's second Bill of Rights sounded very fair when I listened to the speech.
Fair to who?
Fair to the population, to the overall population.
Yeah, for the general welfare.
Yeah.
But not for the big boys.
Fuck the big boys.
No, they are fucking us. And
Selfishness.
they've been doing a damn good job of it.
The God Project that's in the new newsletter, the sin of Job, self-righteousness and the arrogance, and then you have the selfishness and pride, which is it's the devil's economics. Just because somebody is rich and in power, and they say that everything they say that they're right and everybody else is wrong, just simply based on extortion. When you think about it, right? Because they have the money to pay thugs off.
Don't you see what's going
military.
on with Rupert Murdoch right now? All that coming to light?
Another
Scandal?
elitist scumbag.
Yes.
Yeah, Rupert Murdoch, all of them, really. I just posted a big article on the internet about Vincent Kennedy McMahon of the WWE and all the videos that are on the internet of wrestling legends of the past who were severely screwed over by the billionaire Vince McMahon, and they said that's why he's a billionaire. And then what I did was I posted the verse from Proverbs about, he who makes haste to be rich shall not be innocent. But there's a first part of it. Now the righteous shall prosper, something like that. There's a sentence in front of that verse. But anyway, yeah, he who...
Look it up.
It's there. I'm not a theologian. I just took it and I thought it was
the people. Look it up.
Look it up.
If you're interested, look it up. Don't depend on someone else to tell you stuff.
Yeah,
all the time.
go to Google and type in he who Bible verse, King James version, he who makes haste to be rich shall not be innocent. Proverbs. The whole thing will come up. Right. But anyway, it was very appropriate for American conservative style capitalism and the elitists that are trying to turn this country and this world into a corporate plutocracy and enslave you. You are the suckers. You don't, you have more, in reality, you're supposed to have a lot more rights than privileges. The Republicans will tell you they're all privileges. The rights that FDR talked about.
Well, the rights are for them. They have all the rights.
They have all the rights.
That's right. He who has the gold rules.
Based on extortion, because they have the money.
Based on greed.
Right. And just because somebody, remember, just because somebody is very successful in this material world monetarily, that does not mean that you should necessarily idolize them and put them up on a pedestal and say, oh, there goes a very successful man. Oh, just because he's a billionaire? You ever hear of the term ill-gotten gains? All right, just remember that. Guys like Bill Gates and Donald Trump and all of them, even Steve Jobs of Apple. Hey, take a look at a price of one of his iMacs there. He's a greedy capitalist, just like his classmate there, Bill Gates, his former classmate, right? He's a greedy capitalist. He's got a much better system than Windows. True, it's a lot more. It's trouble free, but hey, look at the price of his product. It's the devil's economics. Free market, conservative style capitalism is the devil's economics. So anyway, European Union, FDR's second Bill of Rights, European Union democracy is the fairest type of democracy. And the rich should pay the taxes again, like they did in the old days, 91% tax rate. And people should stop voting for the two-party system. Vote for an independent. Get behind a progressive liberal independent. Unless you don't care if you end up living in a refrigerator box or a tent with no health care and no food, no nothing. Okay, if you don't care, then, just perish. And have the elitists end up surviving, until the second coming of Christ when they get their asses kicked. All right. That's basically it, because I don't have any Linux lingo information to read. But I do want to apologize. Last week I said that the best all-round Linux distro for the mainstream human race and businesses is the new Linux Mint 11. I said Akaya. No, it's Katya. Capital K-A-T-Y-A. Mint 11 Katya. I'm going to apologize. Anyway, maybe we'll have a Linux lingo next week or the week after, or, when we get good material to provide you. Okay, first article.
Being a Christian used to mean showing compassion for those in need. Not anymore. Look at our state's latest budget. We're talking about New Jersey here, which features millions in cuts for social programs that will affect our state's neediest children.
Chris Christie's not too shy to do that, is he?
Governor Christie's budget recommends a $537 million reduction to the budget for the Child Advocacy Center, which helps abused kids. $55 million in college tuition grants for needy young people, and $3 million cut to an after-school program called NJ after 3. Christie stripped the total transitional aid fund to distressed cities from 149 million to 10 million, slashed 500 million from Medicaid, and cut 30 million from programs that benefit immigrants and the working poor. Clearly an attack on the state's poor. Proverbs 28 verse 3 says, "A ruler who oppresses the poor is like a driving rain that leaves no crops." How sad that Christie, who could have rained down kindness on his people, instead has chosen to send those who can least afford it into an economic desert.
There you go. Keep on voting conservative, like you did last November for the conservative Congress that you elected. You idiots, mainstream, Tea Party, middle class American fools, you lemmings. You voted conservative. Now you have sealed your fate. The last nails in the coffin. Okay.
This is a letter. I'm not going to name the person because I don't have his permission.
Oh, by the way, this is my imported Blackthorn Irish Shillelagh, my new crop, because of what it represents to the oppressed Irish by the British monarchy for centuries. Anyway, you don't want to, in other words, yeah, but it's a newspaper article that was found in our local newspaper. So why, since the Bergen Record felt comfortable publishing the
person's...
Because the
guy who wrote the letter gave them permission. I don't have his permission.
Well, oh, you think he legally can turn around and bust our balls?
No, it's just a courtesy.
Courtesy? Fuck courtesy. And anyway, read it. You're the boy. You're in charge.
I was
Fuck
at
courtesy.
the chicken section of the supermarkets, waiting for a gray-haired elderly lady to finish her selection. She was careful in her choice. Finally, turning around and seeing me, she said, "Things are so expensive these days."
No shit.
As she pushed her cart away, I noticed she was only slightly taller than her cart. While her Social Security payment is frozen for 2 years, her Medicare costs and taxes went up and are increasing, and many of the public servants her taxes support got pay and benefit increases. President Obama joked about throwing grandma under the bus, but the humor is missing when you see her there. I recall a letter to the editor many years ago. It said that Social Security came into being because someone wrote to FDR saying he saw a little old lady getting her meals out of Los Angeles garbage cans.
Oh, and it took that to create Social Security. They couldn't think of, just...
No, it was under discussion before that.
Yeah, I mean...
Not the program Social Security for itself,
Yeah.
There was some kind of aid was needed for the elderly in those days.
Well, Social Security pays peanuts anyway compared to the high cost of living.
Oh, well, that's because the elitists have over the years given the wrong CPI figures.
Lies.
Therefore, the cost of living has never kept up with the real inflation rate.
And does that also apply to the average American salary?
The salaries have been stagnant for 30 years.
See, you hear that? To those who are lucky enough to still have a job in the United States of America, the cost of living is much, much, much higher than your salary. That's why you can't make ends meet. That's why you can't save money for your retirement and a nice vacation.
But that's why corporations can have huge profits.
This sounds like a century or thousand. This sounds like an age-old problem that is not all that new here in the United States. I mean, Didn't dictators and monarchs do it centuries ago in other countries?
Been around for a long time.
You know, the he who has the gold rules, and the selfishness and the greed.
Yeah.
And the, you know, people being hypocrites, and it even happened in the Catholic Church in the Middle Ages. Damn. Huh.
How clever of our politicians calling the lady in the supermarket's retirement plan an entitlement, suggesting she was getting something she didn't deserve and could be taken away if they wish.
You see what I said before? It's right in that article. Entitlements, privileges.
Instead of rights.
Instead of rights.
Yeah.
Instead of rights, like FDR's second Bill of Rights that never happened. See? Rights.
And here's another letter.
Yeah.
Everyone understands the need to pinch pennies in a bad economy. But it is crucial to consider what is penny wise and pound foolish. Governor Christie may pat himself on the back for creating the largest government surplus in years, but it will be at the cost of programs supporting New Jersey's most vulnerable. The most draconian cut is a proposal to take $29 million from already struggling nursing homes. To make matters worse, nursing homes will actually take a double hit. The federal government matches state funding dollar for dollar. This is the point where pinching pennies will cost more in the long run to struggling individuals and communities that may not be able to handle it. The people affected are not society's most affluent. They are hard workers of the nursing home industry who care for our loved ones. They are frail parents and grandparents who cared for us for decades and cannot take care of themselves anymore.
Very sad.
They are granddaughters like me who watch helplessly as nursing homes struggle to care for their grandmothers.
Hey,
Well, you know what? I can assure this woman that Mr. Christie does not have any trouble sleeping over what he does.
Mr. Christie is not losing any sleep. Chris Christie is not missing any meals, obviously. Chris Christie, if he had an elderly parent or grandparent, they would be in a 5-star, super luxurious nursing home.
Actually, no, he would probably put him in a nursing home.
Yeah, he would. He would put him in.
Take care of her.
Huh?
He wouldn't take care of her.
No, he won't take care of her. No, he would. No, he would. But they will be in a 5-star exclusive, nursing home. The best.
No, the Republicans, they like to privatize the profits and socialize the risks. So that's what he would do.
Yeah.
Instead of him paying for her, he would put her in, let the taxpayers pay for her.
So in other words, with the rich, more or less, if it's not their problem, it's not their problem because they got the money to buy everything, the best of everything. So it's not their problem to pay out of pocket for the best of everything.
But they won't.
No, they'll try to stiff the middle class with the bill like they've been doing since what, Ronald Reagan? But what does the American public do? The lemmings. They believe the Tea Party bullshit. Started by who? Dick Armey? The Tea Party bullshit.
He started one. The Koch brothers are behind others.
Yeah, they believed it. They believed it. That it's the liberal Democrats, tax and spend liberals. No, it's not. It's Reagan who shifted the tax burden from the rich to the middle class and the poor. And it's the rich not paying taxes, like General Electric, not paying taxes. But, Wall Street bailouts, that kind of welfare is fine. It's great.
It's okay.
They love it. It's okay. Okay? But when it comes to the poor asking for help, that's bad. But it's okay to bail out the wealthy. It is the devil's economics. It is not a new problem on the planet Earth. It is an ancient problem. It is human nature. Human nature is vile. Humans are vile, and this is what happens when they get money and power. They get corrupted, and this is what we have. Everybody. If you're rich, you can pay out of pocket for the best of everything, and the problems that most people have are not theirs, so they don't care. All right, and corporations buy them out, pay them off, and even the Democrats or the Dummycrats. Look, perfect example.
Or the Wimpocrats.
The Wimpercrats. Senators Dodd and Borkus, who a while ago, what is it, 1 or 2 years ago, said no to the public option for health care reform. They're Democrats. Who voted for them? The little guy. Women, minorities, the little guy, the poor. Okay, they turn around, they stab you in the back. You see what you're doing? You people better wake up. Americans have sealed their fate. We're going to take a break, and then we'll be back. You've heard it from the undisputed, proven kings of Internet Talk Radio. Hello there. Greetings. We're back from break. The Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman is partaking in his lunch, and he usually has his lunch while I do promo, and then later on he has high tea, high green tea, rich in antioxidants. Now, let me do promo. This gentleman next to me, right here, this is a self-portrait of the Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman. The Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman, who is the founder of Newsletter Censored in 1977 and my co-host and mentor, just happens to be a fine watercolor artist. You can view the William J. Eisenman collection of fine watercolor art by going to his website, www.newslettercensored.com, or you can go to the William J. Eisenman Facebook profile, okay? And of course, you're looking at a self-portrait of the Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman, watercolor self-portrait. If there's any paintings that you like, email him. And if they are still available, you can purchase an original William J. Eisenman painting signed by William J. Eisenman. The bidding starts at $500. And he is now working on a new painting that might be shown next week, maybe. It is a watercolor portrait of the personal assistant of the wizard Azibuko Esmeralda, and it is an outstanding job that he's doing, and it's a nice one, and it will be scanned, of course, and put on the internet, and then eventually when we get enough additional paintings in his album, I will update the William J. Eisenman watercolor collection slideshow that is on the internet. You know, we have one on the internet now to music, where it's a slideshow of all of his paintings. Well, that eventually that album, that gallery, I shouldn't say album, that's photos. That gallery will grow because he keeps on painting new products, so I will have to update every now and then. Not if there's one extra or two extra, but maybe when we get several extra paintings, I'll update it. Anyway, there's a brand new issue out, hot off the pancake griddle. Okay, this is it. Newsletter Censored. This is the backbone of our organization. Newsletter Censored was founded in 1977 by the Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman. It contains the 5 taboos of American life, which is politics, religion, health, human sexuality, and child rearing. There is more information in the newsletter that you see now than there is on our websites or on our talk shows. Okay? This is the kind of information, the kind of hard-hitting information that we reveal that most people are afraid to hear. Can you handle it? We are living in the end times. You need Newsletter Censored to survive the end times. You need Newsletter Censored to learn how to defeat a conservative. Okay? And this is the new issue. It is, it's funny? The mailing address is 116 Elm Street. This happens to be volume number 116. Isn't that something? Is it an
What's the
omen?
title?
I'm getting to the title.
Fine.
Is it an omen?
No.
Is it maybe an omen?
Coincidence.
Maybe it's a very special, hard-hitting issue. That's why it's the... I'm superstitious. Maybe that's why the number of the issue matches the mailing address. Interesting. The title is... Okay, This Country Was Never a Christian Nation by William J. Eisenman, Ph.D. This country was never a Christian nation, despite what lying scoundrels, evil, lying, wicked, greedy, scoundrel, conservative Republicans would tell you. This country really was never a Christian nation. And this newsletter will prove it in detail. Then we have, let's see, no room for tidbits because this is a long article. Anyway, then we have The God Project by William J. Eisenman, Doctor of Divinity, titled The Sin of Job. The Sin of Job, Self-Righteousness, The Sin of Job, followed by Sexuality, A Holistic Approach by William J. Eisenman, Ph.D., and this is an extra long special edition of Sexuality, A Holistic Approach, and because you have the first part, and then the last segment, the last half, is about teenage sex. Okay, it says here, Chapter 10, Teenage Sex. Okay, so it's an extra long special Sexuality, A Holistic Approach by William J. Eisenman, Ph.D. And then, of course, The Sin of Job, which is so applicable to today's conservatives that, you know, who are Satan-controlled, who are ruling Washington right now, giving poor Barack Obama a hard time, even though Barack Obama is, unfortunately, still a businessman as well as a Democrat. See, this is the problem. This is why the little guy is getting screwed over so badly. You don't have any progressive liberal Democrats in the Congress and the Senate controlling either one, or in the White House. They're like moderates, moderate to conservative Democrats who get liberal come election time. They get liberal. They pander for votes. You know what I mean? It's like in third world countries, a politician is running for office and he comes to your door and he gives you a loaf of bread or a chicken to feed your family, and he buys your votes very cheaply. Well, you know, in America they just simply tell you what you want to hear, and you know, if they have charisma and they kiss the Blarney Stone, and you know, and they sound really great. They're very charismatic.
And they have enough money.
And they have enough money, like Barack Obama, Bill Clinton, very charismatic public speakers. And see, that's the problem, money. We have to get money out of politics. And you know what? I think a qualified progressive liberal independent who doesn't have a pot to piss in should have a chance of running equal to a corrupt, lying, son of a bitch, conservative, wealthy, elitist politician. I think if somebody has enough votes behind them as an independent, and he's a poor schmuck, I think he should be allowed to debate the elitists.
Yeah, but how's he going to get those votes?
Of the two-party system. Ah, yes.
He can't get the votes without the moolah.
See what I mean?
That's the problem.
Now, you say moolah, moolah, moolah because it's reality, or do you? I hope you're not saying moolah, moolah, moolah because you get excited, you get a boner by talking about moolah. You're talking about the real material world, right?
The way it is. Yeah.
The way it is. Ah, okay. I hope, because if you're getting a woody, talking about mullah and elitists and people getting their palms greased, that means Satan is trying to wiggle his way into your mind.
There's no fairness
All
when
right?
you're talking moolah.
Don't let that happen, brother. Oh yeah, nothing is fair in the material world of Satan when it comes to money. And of course, conservative Republicans, they're guilty of idolatry, the love of money, idol worship. So how can they be real Christians if their God is money? If they're idolaters, idolatry. And of course, the church is their bank is the church. You know, bottom line motivated. That's all they care about. That's why the poor are now on the verge of not receiving their Social Security checks. And you know what I mean? I don't know what's going to happen. Maybe the asses of the masses won't have to be told to get their asses out on the streets with torches and pitchforks. Maybe out of desperation, they will get their asses on the streets with torches and pitchforks. Maybe by the hundreds of thousands. If Social Security really does end, and on top of the people that lose their jobs, are laid off, and middle class people lose their homes, and so on and so on, and then now you got people of all ages that are destitute. Who knows what might happen? Martial law?
They're prepared for that, though, aren't they, with the FEMA camps?
Well, what about, you told me that no organized army ever really won a guerrilla war. Maybe the desperate
the guerrilla
people,
war takes a long time.
maybe the desperate people will form guerrilla war tactic militias to go up against the idiots that are. Oh, by the way, I know, like Esmeralda was telling me, they won't ever do it, but you remember Mutiny on the Bounty, of course.
Mr. Christian!
Mr. Christian. The first one was played by Charles Lawton, who played Hunchback of Notre Dame, right? And then the second one was Anthony Hopkins, I think. And I think Mel Gibson played Mr. Christian. I think so. But anyway, it was Mutiny.
Saw the second one.
The captain, Captain Bligh, became a total nut, very unfair, very selfish, abusive, and they mutinized the ship. They committed mutiny. Justifiable. Now, maybe that's why there were a lot of pirates at that time. Maybe it was the little guy up against the greedy, selfish monarchy. You know, stealing the booty from the rich. Robin Hood theory. Maybe they weren't as bad as you think, some of the pirates. But anyway, yeah, arr, arr. Now, the mutiny, the military, that the elitists pay, they don't get paid that much. People in the National Guard and in the Army and everything. But usually the people, the soldiers, come from poor to middle class families. They don't get that much.
The private contractors are making a hell of a lot more.
I don't know why they don't just, look at the corrupt, officers, generals, and politicians and say, hey man, we outnumber them tremendously and they don't pay us that much, so why are we roughing up the very people that we are, the very neighborhoods that we came from? The poor. Why are we roughing up the poor? These cocksuckers don't pay us that much. Why don't we mutiny? How come? And this goes worldwide.
Because they are brainwashed into believing that what they do is for the country.
And isn't this
patriotism?
Patriotism.
The flag.
The lie. The Yankee Doodle Dandy lie perpetrated by the conservatives. Now, is this the same brainwashing mentality, Dr. Bill, that caused middle-class America to vote in a Republican Congress last November? Is this a very similar brainwashing?
Well, a lot of people...
Excuse me.
The problem was not that the people that voted in. The people who voted Obama in did not show up at the polls.
People didn't get involved.
That's correct.
They don't get involved. They didn't get out and vote. Now, during Bush, G.W. Bush versus Gore, didn't the Democrats bus the poor and the elderly and the handicapped people to the polls? Didn't they like provide transportation?
Well, they do that all the time.
They do all the time, but still, most people didn't care. Most people did not get to the polls.
During those elections, Kerry, Gore,
Yeah,
there was voter fraud
there you
in
go.
Ohio, in Florida.
In Florida, with Jebby.
It was Jebby Bush
Jebby.
and Catherine Harris and black whoever in Ohio. So there was a lot of that going on. There was a lot of ways done to keep blacks and Hispanics, brown people, from voting.
People of color from voting.
Like, for instance, you'd have a place where you go to vote, and it's in a black neighborhood,
Yeah,
Hispanic neighborhood,
right.
and they'd have one machine.
How the
One
hell-
machine, but in the more white neighborhoods, they'd have plenty of machines. So the black people would have to stand in line for hours, and a lot of them just walked away.
Underhanded tactics by the elitists, by the conservatives. Do you see now? The underhanded, sneaky, well-planned, premeditated tactics. So. Now you're probably wondering, you people that are jumping aboard the show now, why I'm wearing this crown. This is our crown that you've seen before, and it's a lovely crown. I'm wearing the crown because I have made a statement at the beginning of the show that we are the undisputed, proven kings of Internet Talk Radio. What we present, what we provide overall, the overall picture, is much greater than what anybody else does. With the research that we do, with the hard-hitting, real truth that we provide, we pull no punches, we name names. We're extremely spontaneously witty and funny when we have to be. We're entertaining. We'll make you laugh, but we'll educate you at the same time. We will enlighten you. Hopefully the enlightenment is enough to get your ass out there. Go to the town meetings. If you're in New Jersey, give Balloon Boy Chris Christie a hard time. And most importantly, do not vote for the two-party system. Vote for a progressive, liberal, independent. Get behind the independent, but vote. Okay? But you shouldn't have to settle for the lesser of the two evils. You know, people always tell you that. Well, when you don't have any other option, I guess you have to vote for the lesser of the two evils. But why should Americans settle all the time for the lesser of the two evils? Let's get behind an independent. Okay, continue with the article.
Let's learn how to write in a candidate.
Do people know about that? Oh, by the way, speaking of write in a candidate, I'm sorry for not bringing this up, but my co-host and mentor and founder of Newsletter Censored in 1977, the Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman, has once again thrown his hat in. Thrown his cowboy hat in and into the race, and he once again is running for the 2012 presidential election as an independent. Are you affiliated with any particular independent party?
No.
This is total.
This will be a write-in campaign. That's what I told you.
Okay.
Educate the people on how to do write-ins.
All right. Now,
this is the only way you're gonna fight money. The only way you're gonna fight moolah.
The only way you're going to get money out of politics. Politics. Get it? Politics.
Make the vote more important than the money.
The vote for the right man is more important than the moolah, than the money. Now, is there an instruction, an explanation on how to write in and the importance of writing in on your website?
You are allowed. No.
Because not everybody knows about this.
It differs. You need to ask the person, or you need to spend a couple of more minutes in the booth and look up. There's an explanation there.
Okay.
if you're using a machine.
But if they want, if they're a big fan of our show and our newsletter, and they want to write in for you, Dr. Bill, there is a simple procedure on the website for doing so, right?
Because it differs with all the machines. You have to ask your person when you go to the voting booth, the voting place.
Right.
Ask her. It's usually a her. That's what she's there for.
Yeah.
You know?
And yeah,
They
ask
have to
them
know.
how to write in,
Right.
and if you wish, you can write in William J. Eisenman. Of course, the best way to start to support the campaign and to support this work, of course, is to get your free annual subscription. Okay, and I'm going to show it again. Get your free annual subscription with your gift to support this work. And we have a new issue out. This country was never a Christian nation. Volume 160. All right. Get your annual subscription right now, or after you watch this show, with your gift to support this work. That's the best way to be a part of our organization and to support not only this work, but the campaign.
Well, you can't say that, you know, that is associated with campaign.
No. This is associated with supporting the work done
That's correct.
here at the Newsletter Censored Research Center in Northeastern New Jersey. All right. Now, we do need to get the money out of politics. All right, continue.
A liberal group upset over potential cuts to Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security delivered pledges Friday to President Obama's national campaign headquarters, threatening to pull its support. About a dozen people representing the Progressive Change Campaign Committee delivered what they said were 200,000 pledges from people who will refuse to donate or volunteer for Obama's re-election campaign if he cuts the entitlement programs. It's not a question of who they're going to support for president. They're going to vote for Barack Obama. It's a question of where their time and money is going to go. Spokesman T. Neil Sroka said. Sroka later said she was not speaking on behalf of the group. Obama has been taking heat from the left over the debt ceiling negotiations, in which he has been willing to target the long-standing programs. His approach is certain to sit better with independent voters, many of whom have told pollsters they want Washington politicians to work together to solve the big problems. Sroka said the 200,000 people represent more than $17 million in donations to Obama's campaign in 2008, and about 2.6 million volunteer hours. Mary Ellen Croteau, 61, of Chicago, said she's ready to find someone else to support if Obama cuts Medicare and Social Security. I don't know who I'm going to vote for yet, because there doesn't seem to be too many people on the horizon, but I will vote for someone, whether it's a green candidate or a communist. I don't care.
There doesn't seem to be many people on the horizon. That's because all she's doing is depending on the media, primetime media, to tell her who's on the horizon. Americans are lazy. They're not doing their research. Of course, it's not fair that the media only shows the two-party system candidates.
Yeah. She says she wants somebody who's going to stand up for people.
There you go. People before profits.
The Obama campaign's chief operating officer, Anne Marie Habershaw, accepted the group's petitions. Americans elected the president in 2008 to take on the big challenges facing our country. And he's engaged in an effort to do just that, Obama spokesman Ben LeBold said.
Then why is he pussyfooting around with the conservatives? Why isn't he coming clean and getting on national TV and telling people about the elitists and the corporations and the conservatives and what they're doing? Be honest with your voter. See, that's all the Democrats need to do. Come clean. Come clean. The truth. The truth. That's all.
Maybe we better send them a little hand Perel, the hand wash stuff.
What do you
I'm
mean?
clean.
Oh, you mean disinfectant? Antibacterial?
Yeah, hand soap.
I know they were scared. I know they were scared of offending the corporate America because they won't get their little campaign contributions. You know what I'm saying? And this is this problem. The money in politics. Or politics. Oh boy.
An AIDS drug already
As in HIV, AIDS.
shown to help prevent spread of the virus in gay men also works for heterosexual men and women. The studies in Africa could help us to reach the tipping point in the HIV epidemic. Michael Siddibe, executive director of the United Nations AIDS program, said on Wednesday, "This is really a game changer. The prevention drug is Truvada.
Yeah.
A pill already on pharmacy shelves to
Pharmacies.
treat people with HIV.
When he's done, I got a nice juicy comment.
It's made by Gilead Sciences Incorporated
Yeah.
of Foster, California.
Gilead. Right up
Foster
your
City,
right
California.
into your wallet and up your ass. Pharmaceuticals.
Another Gilead drug, Virad, was also used in one of the two African studies. Earlier research with Truvada found it prevented spread
Yeah.
of HIV to infected gay men.
Uh-huh.
But experts were thrilled Wednesday at the first compelling evidence that AIDS medications can prevent infection between men and women. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, which gave advice last fall for use of the preventive drugs among gays, is now developing guidance for heterosexuals in this country.
Mm-hmm.
The studies were to be announced at an AIDS conference next week in Rome. But at the recommendation of the review panel to the University of Washington study, both study teams made hasty decisions to release the results. Gilead Sciences is a major producer of AIDS drugs. UN health officials announced Tuesday that the company had agreed to allow Truvada, Virad, and two other drugs to be made by generic manufacturers, potentially increasing their availability in poor countries. The 30-day supply of Truvada costs about $900 in United States pharmacies.
Oh, really?
And the same amount of Virad costs about $600.
Now, do you see what I mean by me going like this? The shillelagh up the ass with no lubrication when it comes to the drug companies. Okay, are you done with that article? Because I have something to say to HIV patients.
Go ahead.
Go the natural route. Alternatively, take a supplement called beta-glucans. What you need to do is take immunostimulant supplements that are proven, time-proven, without a shadow of a doubt, to boost your immune system, to strengthen your immune system. Beta-glucans, vitamin C, 10 grams per day. Hopefully you can take a multi-mineral ascorbate, a buffered one, if you can. I know Twin Lab Super Vitamin C, Super C powder is an excellent choice. Also, olive leaf extract with the active ingredient aleuropin, 2 capsules every 4 hours. Okay, that's the protocol that was recommended by Earl Mindell. Okay, Dr. Earl Mindell. Okay, 2 capsules every 4 hours has been known to destroy every known bacteria, pathogen, parasite in laboratories, in vitro. Optimize your vitamin A and D. At least, what's a good upper level maintenance dose. 30,000 international units of vitamin A.
Vitamin A, 35,000.
About, let's say 35,000. And of course, the vitamin D should be very high, well over 1,000 international units for the immune system. Okay, and of course, high B complex, 50 to 100 milligrams. But of course, the basic nutritional program is a must. Getting optimal amounts of minerals, vitamin E, at least 400 units of natural vitamin E in a base of mixed tocopherols with 200 micrograms of selenium. But polysaccharides, I mentioned beta-glucans. Same thing with the oriental mushrooms, the Asian mushrooms, maitake. You know, you can get a blend now. You can get every mushroom in there. But beta-glucan, which is a fungi too, is basically what the mushrooms provide. You know, stimulate the immune system. The olive leaf extract alone, taken every 4 hours, has destroyed the HIV virus, if there is such a thing. That's another controversy. You know, whether or not there is a proven AIDS virus. But anyway, that's all I have to say. Instead of getting ripped off, okay, by the drug companies, just like, you know, they discovered. We've always knew it, but neurologists also discovered that vitamin D in the right dosages can help and or cure multiple sclerosis. You know, over 1,000 units every day. I would throw in A too, but you know. But meanwhile, a friend of mine spending $20,000 a year on MS drugs. $20,000 a year it cost her for her multiple sclerosis drug. Interesting. How much is vitamin A and D? Just mere drop in a bucket.
A mere bag of shells.
A mere bag of shells. Extremely, extremely inexpensive. And it can cure autoimmune afflictions. So there you go. Take your pick. You want to be a sucker for the pharmaceutical industry? Go right ahead. Okay.
1938, British Prime Minister Neville Chamberlain ceded the Sudetenland to the Nazis, then proudly proclaimed that the appeasement had brought peace for our time. It didn't work. Unfortunately, President Obama appears ready to make the same mistake in dealing with today's Republicans. These self-righteous fanatics have no intention of compromising their beliefs. They have shown by their votes in both houses of Congress that they are ready to destroy both Medicare and Social Security to protect outrageous tax cuts and subsidies for the big oil billionaires, hedge fund managers, and Wall Street bankers, who are today's master race. Just as Hitler was willing to go to the brink to destroy European civilization, today's Republicans are ready to plunge the world into another Great Depression unless they get their way. Obama has wistful hopes that he can arrive at reasonable compromises with them. Unless he starts acting like Winston Churchill and sees them as an enemy to be fought with every weapon he has, we will see one failed appeasement after another until they finally achieve their goal of enthroning their plutocracy and turning the rest of us into Untermenschen.
Great article. I hope, was it Jon Stewart, one of the very few liberal voices on television? I hope guys like him are you know, enlightening people on their shows about exactly what's going on. And forget about the comedy. This is no joke. But you know what? What are you going to do? Liberals like Al Franken, we haven't heard from him since he became senator, so I don't know. I don't know what their agenda is, these people.
Their agenda is to compromise
Because somebody is filling their pocket up with moolah?
with people who don't want to compromise.
Like Jon
With
Stewart.
people, it's my way or the highway.
Like, for instance, if I turn on TV and Jon Stewart is telling jokes, instead of getting down and dirty with this real truth that's going on here and supporting Democrats and liberals and stuff like that, if he doesn't do that, that means he's a corporate kiss ass, just like all the rest of them, right? He's sucking his sponsor's dick. Maybe. You think the sponsors tell people what they can say and what they can't say?
Absolutely.
Like, is that why Jesse Ventura's conspiracy theory
Absolutely.
is not on True TV?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And that's why we don't see Jesse with his new book on all the primetime shows, talk shows?
I guess, yeah.
We haven't seen him.
I haven't seen him, no.
No. He was only on The View with his first book, Conspiracy Theory. His second book, like something about all the things the government does not want you to know.
Yeah.
10 things. Or
63.
something
I think
like
63 or 65 things.
No, he was only on Gary Knowles' show. He
So
hasn't
was
been invited back to The View, because you got corporate ass kissing Barbara Walters that busted Jesse Ventura's balls when he was on the show. You know, how dare you say our government is capable of doing such a thing?
I remind her of the Tuskegee experiment.
The Tuskegee experiment? Is that
No.
when she sucks the dick of
No,
every
that
corporate
was an
CEO?
experiment that the United States government conducted on black people who had syphilis.
Oh,
And they
yeah.
didn't tell them. And they watched how the symptoms developed. And then they died.
In a very Dr. Mengele fashion?
Yes. Yes.
So they were guinea pigs,
That's correct.
because they considered them to be subhuman?
That's correct. I guess
Because
so.
we had racism back then?
We have racism right now.
Worse than today, huh?
I don't know if it's worse than today. At least it was out in the open then. Today, they get away with it by covering it up.
You know what a lot of mainstream Tea Party ass-kissing conservatives have been saying on the internet? They seem to always blame our problems here in America on quote-unquote illegal immigration and the poor collecting social services, collecting welfare. It's always the fault of immigrants and the poor. It's never the fault of the elitists or corporate CEOs. They'll never say it's the elitists and the corporations that are doing all this, or their political leaders. Oh no, it's always immigrants. It's their fault. It's the poor that are collecting welfare. The welfare cheats. It's their fault. It's their fault. It's always the poor or illegal immigration.
They always have a boogeyman.
It's like, I mean, these people are believing what the Republicans are telling them, obviously, because they're idiots. We're talking about your average, typical Joe
What's the matter
six-pack.
with Kansas? Yeah.
Yeah,
Those
what's the
people.
matter with Kansas? Your western and southern red state, you know, not so educated people that always vote conservative, no matter what, you know,
Because Democrats are baby killers,
Yeah.
secular humanists, atheists, etc., etc.
yeah, we're talking about right-wing fundamentalist religious nuts. You
who
know,
are 35% of
whole-
the Republican Party.
35% holy rollers, like the pastor that burned the Quran from Florida, the guy, the stupid ass that looks like a basset hound, that burned the Quran after he was told it's not such a good idea, don't do it. He did it anyway. Religious nuts. You know, maybe you remember when I know I'm going to get very hard hitting right now. Remember when Marie Osmond was on the Oprah Winfrey show and she's crying about her gay son that committed suicide and acting like she doesn't know why it happened and blah blah blah. Maybe her family, who is Mormon, would you consider their practices to be right-wing fundamentalist? Maybe they ostracized Marie Osmond's gay son, and he felt alone, and like he did not have a family, and maybe it was their holy roller religious nut right-wing fundamentalist ways by ostracizing him that caused him to commit suicide. But of course she didn't say that to Oprah. She made it look like, I don't know why, what happened, why me, what, and Nancy Kerrigan, why me? Woo. Hey, it's a possibility.
What about Michelle Bachmann and her husband and his clinic?
I don't know the deal with Michelle Bachmann.
Well, he runs a clinic. And in the clinic, gay people come there, and he wants to turn them straight by praying and using God and the Bible and et cetera, et cetera.
But he represents God, right? In his eyes.
No, of course.
So he's self-righteous. So he's better than. So So in other words, these people are bad. These gay people that come to the clinic,
but
right?
their therapy is through God and the Bible.
And he tries to act. He behaves like he's trying to cast demons out of them or something.
I have no idea whether he lays on hands or whatever.
But he feels he has to pray for them before treating them.
Not before. That is their treatment.
So the treatment is to tell them that they are wicked sinners and that they need to repent? That's their treatment?
Well, I'm sure they doesn't in their face that up front, because I don't think they'd pay them.
So the Bachmans are like Christine the Witch O'Donnell. They are religious kooks.
And they accept government money for doing that.
Wait a minute. Government money, isn't that the same as taxpayers' money for faith-based initiatives to support their lousy, deluded, misguided, distorted, corrupt biblical views, their views on Christianity that are unproven and not necessarily in the Bible?
And judgmental.
And self-righteous. They're using taxpayers' money?
Yeah.
Interesting.
House Speaker John Boehner, House Majority Leader Eric Cantor, the Tea Partiers, and the right-wing fringe are trying to sell America with another big lie regarding the United States' current financial situation.
This is an excellent last article for this show.
The debt ceiling needs to be raised. Has been raised many times under all presidents since Ronald Reagan, and needs to be resolved to ensure middle America isn't subjected to higher interest rates, limited credit, higher costs for consumer goods, and even less job creation. It is very clear to me that the Republican leadership's only mission is to embarrass, harass, and disrupt any chance of President Obama being successful in his efforts to lead this country out of their recession. Let's face it, a bad economy will benefit Republicans nationally, and their antics and misinformation will continue until November 2012. It's time for Obama to stop negotiating and come out swinging. Raise revenue via taxing the wealthiest.
Make them pay. Pay the piper.
Close the corporate loopholes. Reduce military spending.
Bionic elbow.
And foreign aid. And leave Social Security and Medicare alone.
It's time to make the elitists pay the piper. Come out swinging. You hear that?
It's
Obama, the people that voted you in, and what was that, 2008? November of 2008?
Yeah.
All right? Be loyal to your voters. Do the right thing. It shouldn't be about partisan politics. It should be about doing the right thing, and stop compromising. Stop this big hippie loving, why can't we all get along bullshit. This bipartisanship, this compromising that has not worked in the past, does not work now, and will not work in the future. Come out swinging, President Obama. That's it. Look, he's too gentle when he's interviewed, when he talks about this subject.
Even when he's talking in his speech the other day, before the reporters, whatever the hell it was,
yeah,
he referred to the Bush administration as the cause of our current situation, which was true.
I can buy that.
But he didn't use his name.
GW?
Yeah.
He just said the Bush administration.
No, he didn't say the Bush administration.
Well,
he said the previous administration.
Oh,
let's see.
Pigeon-livered.
Now, you know, people who aren't used to nuance, they're not going to get that.
Backbone?
And that's what they're saying now. No. Now Obama owns this economy now. It's his. It's his fault.
Grow a backbone? Democrats and President Obama, come clean with the people.
Wash your hands.
Say G.W. Bush. Say Bush. Why is this man, along with Reagan, but Reagan's dead, so why are they being protected so much?
They're not only protected, they're idealized.
Come on, Obama. Name names. You need to name names.
You see all the airports, you see all the buildings, you see all the street signs named for Reagan? This is these people that they're trying to make his image, into something positive when it was not. Read the new newsletter. It'll tell you a lot about the Reagan years.
It's so easy to name names. Look, we do it. I'm staring at a camera right now. We name names. What's the name? I'll tell you. Ronald Reagan shifted the tax burden from the rich to the middle class and the poor. It's not the fault of liberals, okay? It's not the fault of the Democrats. It's Ronald Reagan that started it. And G.W. Bush has sunk the U.S. into a deficit that is beyond recovery. There's no return from it. Over $1 trillion Wall Street bailout, over $1 trillion trillions to Iraq and Afghanistan. All right.
And you see, that's the problem. This is another nuance that the people do not understand.
Tax cuts for the rich, yeah.
When Obama came into office, everything that George W. Bush did not put in the budget,
yeah,
the 2 wars, Medicare Part D, the military spending.
Yeah, overinflated military spending.
All of this stuff
that could save the country, by the way.
Was not put on the budget.
Oh, really?
So when Obama comes in, he puts it on the budget. So there goes, $1.4 trillion deficit. Mm-hmm. Well, what the hell do you think? Bush didn't put any of this on the budget. So nobody knew how much the deficit was then. Now we do. But it's Bush's deficit, not Obama's. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, most people don't get it. Just the same with the jobs. Bush is said by some to have created 3 million jobs during his 8 years. It's actually more like 1.7. Then before he leaves office, 4 million jobs are gone. Obama gets into office, 4 million more jobs are gone. Whose fault is that? Who set up the playbook and everything beforehand to cause those problems? Bushy. Obama comes in and saves jobs. Saves GM's General Motors. Socialism. Because we lent them money.
Yeah, well,
stay in business.
Of course, welfare for the rich is okay for conservatives.
And all of these conservative
hypocrites,
governors in all the states here that are firing, laying off, and cutting public sector people. Well, how is this creating jobs? Yeah. And yet they're supposed to be our savior job creators.
Well, for you idiots out there that voted for a Republican Congress last November, I'm talking about you average Joe six-packs, that believe the Tea Party bullshit.
Yeah, who drink Coors.
Yeah, cheap beer. I got news for you. They flat out lied to you. Cutting taxes for corporations and the rich will not create jobs in the United States, because they will outsource as many jobs as they can, and they've done it.
And they have the money overseas. They don't want to bring it back because it'll be taxed.
And of course, when these corporations take the products made in third world countries back into the United States, and they're coming off the cargo ships, of course Washington is not hitting them with tariffs. They're not tariffing the product to try to collect the revenue lost by losing jobs overseas and offshore tax havens, and the fact that corporations are not paying taxes. You got to get the revenue somewhere to support all the unemployed people who are losing their homes, who are destitute. All the unemployed Americans out there, and the numbers growing higher and higher. Got to support them somehow. Tariff the corporations when the product comes off the cargo ship. But no, they're not doing that, Dr. Bill. So it's like, wake up, America. Man, people are lazy. They don't vote. They don't research the people they vote for. They don't make an attempt to see if the person they're voting for lied to them, which they did.
If you don't like to pay taxes, don't make so much money.
You heard it.
Pure and simple.
If you're a crybaby if you're rich and you're a crybaby about paying taxes because you're just a selfish, greedy son of a bitch, then just don't make as much money.
Very simple.
And stuff like that. So anyway, great show. We'll see you next time. Say so long.
Hasta la vista.
Yeah.
Baby.